version of the Lost Box deck is one that's been highly contentious. I think heading into this format, a lot of people thought this could be the strongest variant of the Lost Zone decks in this post-rotation format. It has not played out that way so far. That's depending on who you talk to. Some people think it's a high-tier deck. Some people think not as much. My personal experience has been that it struggles a bit. It doesn't have the advantage of only having single prize Pokemon. It has some weaknesses. It doesn't have the tankiness of Goodra, but hey, Cameron here at 5-1-1, and we'll see how it performs here against that Mew VMAX.
John starting things off, Battle VIP Pass, 2 basics on the bench already. That is pretty close to how Mew wants to start things off. You get a bunch of basics in play and draw a bunch of cards with your Genesect V and that Fusion Strike system.
Yeah, this might be the 2 decks that people hate playing against the most. Mew VMAX, of course, going to take a long turn with all those Fusion Strike systems, and then the Lost Box deck's going to take a long time with all those flower selecting. So, the first couple turns, each player is going to take a little bit to draw through their deck and whatnot, but hopefully we'll have a good one.
I think that's 3 Lost Vacuums in hand. Cannot use those. Gonna Fusion Strike system for 1 card here. Finds the Mew V. Can bench that, draw 2 more cards.
Yeah, that's brutal, though. You have 4 Mew V in play and only 2 Genesect? That's not how you want to start things.
There you go.
You can play the Power Tablet.
Oh, no, the 4th Mew comes down.
This is not how the deck usually wants to start things.
Okay. You're only drawing 2 cards off the Fusion Strike system. All right.
Trekking Shoes, double Turbo Energy found.
There we go.
Mew VMAX. All right, look.
You're
we got an attack. Yeah,
what
that's all you
want?
need.
Yeah.
Pass the turn. Cameron is going to start things off. Drapion V drawn off the top of the deck. Colress's Experiment. I think there's 3 Colress's Experiment in Cameron's hand.
Yeah, now it's interesting. Of course, Drapion V is the card that's kind of the big counter to the Mew VMAX deck. I think newer players in this situation would be really tempted to just throw it down and be like, oh, I can get a turn 1 2 prize knockout. Why wouldn't I do this? It actually makes more sense to wait until Mew VMAX is in play, and then you can get the 3 prize knockout. You're trying to get 3 and then 3. You don't want to really get that 2 prize knockout most of the time. So we'll see what Cameron decides to do. But I think for the most part these days, you don't really want to rush in there with your Drapion V. You want to wait until you can knock out a VMAX.
Well, I just found out that I am a newer player, apparently. I love just going for it. I love free cards.
I mean, when it works, it works. I don't blame you.
Flower selecting will find the Beach Court for Cameron here. Gets rid of that Grass Energy. And as a Lost Box deck, you usually don't see those Grass Energies, but because of the Giratina V-Star, you need those to attack.
Yep. Sableye getting thrown away by the Ultra Ball. Sableye is great in a lot of matchups. I don't think this is one of them. It certainly has its uses, but there's not any easy prizes for Lost Mine to pick off. Usually this is about the heavy hitters. Plus you can always Clara to get that back, so easy to throw away here.
Yeah, as he was saying, you want to go for that Drapion V, take the knockout on the VMAX, and then something like the Drapion again with something like Thornton, or you take the knockout with Giratina V-Star.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you can go Drapion, take the first 3 prize cards, and then Giratina V-Star, use that V-Star power to close out the game, that's perfect. And you can set that up reasonably well. I do feel like this is one of the pretty solid matchups for the Giratina V-Star deck because you have that way to knock out 2 Mew VMAX in a game. And you can put your opponent in an awkward position where they have to choose between knocking out the Drapion or the Giratina, and whichever one they don't knock out, you just follow up with the other one.
Usually you see the scenarios where you have to rely on the path to the peak, leave the Drapion alone, take the knockout on the Giratina.
Yep.
And with this Ultra Ball, it's going to find the Comfey. And interesting note, there's just that 1 Ultra Ball in the list. No real other way to find those Giratina V-Stars when you need them. Going to have to rely on all of this draw power with Flower selecting Colress's Experiment.
Yep, so just continuing to try to put some cards into the lost zone. This is the first benchmark. Getting the 4th card in there. The next biggest one is 7, and then 10 is really big for this one as well. Get to that Star Requiem for Giratina V-Star. So, yeah, this is, yeah, I think from the Lost Zone player side, you can take a little bit of a breather. You can't give up too many prize cards, but, you know, it's not like other matchups where you need to, like, rush in here with a Cramorant on the first turn. You're really kind of reactive in a lot of situations. The game starts once the first Mew VMAX comes into play.
Yeah, you even see here with the Nest Ball, Cameron eyeing down another Comfey. Maybe that Radiant Greninja, but we'll have to see. Instead of something like a Giratina V, just because that's something that could be easily bossed up, KO'd with the Mew VMAX.
Yeah, so we'll see how Cameron wants to approach this. You know, Mew VMAX has been such a popular deck for so long. I have to imagine that, you know, pretty much everybody has played this matchup with whatever deck they're using at some point. It's crazy to see how much this Fusion Strike deck has evolved over the last year or so. You know, it started off, you would counter this deck by playing Path to the Peak, and now it starts playing Path to the Peak, and then ways to get rid of it on its own turn. Reminds me a lot of, there used to be those like Garbotoxin decks with Klefki, where the Klefki would fall off at the end of your opponent's turn.
I love that deck. that interaction was so fun.
Yep.
Here we see the power tablet that's going to allow the Psychic Leap to take the knockout with Cross Fusion Strike, and one extra card drawn with the Fusion Strike system does find the Cramomatic and a Battle VIP pass, and there's a heads. All right, this hand is opened up a little bit now.
Definitely. Yeah, this is a smart play. Again, you don't want to give your opponent that first 3 prize knockout. So if you can Psychic Leap, shuffle the Mew VMAX back into the deck while still getting a knockout, puts your opponent back in that awkward position where, you know, they can use the Drapion V to knock out a Mew V, but it really doesn't progress you too far in terms of winning. You still have to knock out 2 Mew VMAX to win the game. So it's a tricky situation.
And we saw with the Cramomatic, John did find the Path to the Peak, able to shut off that Wild Style ability from that Drapion V. And of course, you got plenty of Lost Vacuums to take care of it on your next turn.
Yeah, all of them.
Second Genesect drawing just 1 card. Does find an Ultra Ball though, but that's not something I don't think you want to play right now.
Yeah, you got to hold on to your Lost Vacuums, you know.
You do. All right, Cross Fusion Strike, Psychic Leap. Do we see it put back in the deck? It is looking like no.
Ooh, okay.
And that could be huge because we know Cameron has the Beach Court and that Drapion V in hand already.
All right, so sparks are going to start to fly here.
I didn't know Drapion was a lightning Pokemon.
I mean, it hits so hard. Maybe it's some sparks fly. I don't know.
It's pretty dynamic.
Yeah. There you go. But yeah, continuing to get cards in the Lost Zone. Another Colress's Experiment. This is exactly what you're hoping for with this deck. 2 turns taken, 2 Colress's Experiments played. Ooh, 2 Battle VIP pass in the Lost Zone. I mean, this is beautiful so far. Now Mirage Gate has been unlocked as well. Things are looking great for Cameron right now. There's also been no judges played from John's side. Usually your strategy in this matchup, you path and then you play judge. You really want to disrupt your opponent's hand, especially these Lost Box decks. They thrive on building up a bunch of cards in hand. So when you aren't able to just spam judge every turn, it lets them do what they want. And, you know, it's gotten to a point where Mew VMAX really does rely on the disruption aspect to win. Pretty much every deck can overpower it at this point. But
is the
yes,
appropriate word.
If you draw the correct cards, which that's where the judge and the Path to the Peak come into play.
There is that Beach Court bumping that Path to the Peak, also allowing a free retreat from the Comfey in the active spot. I guess the perfect thing would be an energy on a Giratina V to kind of set up the checkmate scenario, but we just see a Psychic Energy on Sableye. There is that Dynamic Tail taking the knockout thanks to weakness. 60 on the Comfey.
Gonna be a 3 prize card knockout. And John's got an awkward hand still. Got the Feather Ball that can go grab a UV Max. But
3rd Genesect, here we go.
All right. Not bad. But yeah, obviously this turn you're going to want to go for that Roxanne. This is kind of how this matchup plays out now, or a lot of matchups where Drapion V is involved. Your opponent gets the 3-prize knockout. That puts them in range for Roxanne. You slam down Path to the Peak, play Roxanne, and then you just cross your fingers that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, it does sting a little bit, though, when your opponent draws out of that Roxanne.
Yeah. There's always the danger of that. But I think Cameron is not fully set up. If this Drapion V goes down, there's no immediate response. So, I don't know. This is still a pretty close game.
Listen, Kyle, I think you're forgetting about our little supporter called Thornton.
Very true.
There is a Luminion V in the deck, so if the one Ultra Ball wasn't used, it already was. But
Yep, and this is where things can get interesting with, whether you go for Lost City or Pass to the Peak. These days, a lot of people are playing 2 Drapion V, so you can never be too sure that sending it to the Lost Zone means you're done with it. I would say most Lost Box decks only play 1 Drapion V, so you're probably safe to just go for the Lost City play, but it still is nerve-wracking.
all right, Featherball found that first Mew VMAX. Ultra Ball will find the second. And, this is why John played down a bunch of Mew Vs, so you can just get all these later on.
Yeah.
No, it has been a weird hand for John this whole entire game. Now, finally, to use the deck to full power, Fusion Strike system, draw 5 cards, a couple power tablets. Needed one of those, but still needs to find a double turbo energy.
Oh, yeah, that's important, too. Looks like Roxanne was found, though. That's going to be a huge card to play here. This is the premier comeback card right now in the standard format. You have both players shuffle their hands in. Your opponent gets 2 cards, and you get 6. How's that fair, Jeremy?
It's not, because my opponent's 2 cards are always like Professor's Research or Colress's Experiment or Boss's Orders Energy for Game. And there's the Lost City Roxanne.
No Thornton plays today, Jeremy.
No Thornton plays today.
I think Cameron just said classic Mew play.
Yeah. Now, like you said, with the Roxanne, John is going to be drawing 6 cards. Cameron's going to be drawing 2. You still have access to no more Fusion Strike systems. So you're going to need to draw that double turbo right now.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, if you don't, then maybe you can draw a Cramomatic to go find it. But yeah, double turbo energy is very important right now.
Listen, I don't want to talk about flips with you, Kyle. We've had enough of them for today.
Well, I do see a Cramomatic.
We do, and it might come down to that.
Uh-oh.
All right, here we go. Cramomatic.
Here we go. This is a big one. Oh.
Tails. No. No other way to draw cards for the turn. Retreat to...
I think a retreat to a Genesect.
Yeah. And that is the worst. You don't even have Path to the Peak to stop the Drapion.
Yep. Cameron drew the Thornton. Cameron said, "But you passed." Oh, okay. But I don't think Cameron's hand is very good. I see Thornton, Hisuian Heavy Ball. I don't see what the third card is, but I mean, I don't think you can even get a knockout here, can you? Or wait.
I'm not sure. There's only 8 in the Lost Zone. You're not able to even get the Drapion V out of the active Lost Mine.
Right.
You get this Cramorant, thanks to that Hisuian Heavy Ball.
It does just do 190, so yes, you will still get a knockout.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so used to people having Oricorio in play and this not working, but
it does.
It does do 190 damage. It does perfectly knock out everything in the Fusion Strike deck, yes.
And it gets Lost Zone, too. Don't forget that.
Oh, yeah.
Been struggling to find Genesect an entire game.
Okay, so Cameron was gifted another 2 prize cards there. And now we'll see... Ooh, we see the Cleansing Gloves go on to that Mew VMAX.
That's not going to do anything here.
Yeah, I guess not.
Usually a tool card for the Gardevoir EX matchups because Choice Belt doesn't really work on those new EX Pokemon.
Yeah.
Oh, double turbo.
All right.
A little late.
We had it last turn. Dude, for real.
Dude, for real indeed.
Still no power tablet, though, right?
Nope. We're going to have to judge, try to find it.
Uh-huh.
2 played already. He's going to need to try to draw into that right now, or that 1 choice belt.
Was there a Genesect prize this game? Are we out of those?
There was a Genesect prize, but John took it for the one
okay.
prize he got.
Okay. Still got hopes here. Yeah, I guess choice belt also would work to get the knockout here. So got a couple of power tablets left. Got a choice belt left, and we'll see what happens here.
4th card, Genesect. All right.
All right.
And Ultra Ball in hand. You can ditch the entire hand and try again.
Yeah, it's funny. I think there's a path to the peak in that hand as well.
Yes.
So you can just Fusion Strike system for 3, and if you miss, you can play down the path to the peak. Okay, Forest Sealstone, that should do it.
How about 2 of them?
Yeah, even better.
And there we go. Star Alchemy will be able to find any card in the deck. It's going to be that power tablet.
Yep.
And with that power tablet, you can cross Fusion Strike the Technoblast for the knockout on that Drapion V. And finally, John doing what he was trying to do the previous turn.
Yep. That Drapion V only got 5 prize cards before it got taken down.
Yeah. It could do better. It's going to go to the Lost Zone now.
Yep.
Important to note, does put the Lost Zone count up to 9.
That's true. That makes it easier to use Sableye. And of note, after that knockout on the Genesect, 2 attacks from Lost Mine from Sableye will end up in a victory now. Before, getting like a 2 prize knockout on a Genesect V wouldn't have mattered, but now, if Cameron just finds like a Clara or something like that to get back that other Sableye that was discarded earlier, Lost Mine twice and the game's over.
That would require a little bit more cards drawn here. Something like Cloris's Experiment in hand. And there we see the Radiant Greninja found off that flower selecting. So with an energy, you can discard and draw a couple more.
Yep, there are 10 in the Lost Zone now, as you mentioned. I'm guessing we're going to see a concealed cards. I think Cameron debating whether it's worth just retreating and using Lost Mine or chancing it with the concealed cards, but just going to go ahead and guarantee an attack. John is at 3 prize cards. So it's going to take 3 attacks. I don't think there's going to be any Pokemon V in play to get 2 prize knockouts. So in theory, you have kind of a buffer turn to set up 1 more turn. So maybe, just thinking if I can attack this turn, I'll probably be able to piece together 1 more attack over the next 2 turns, and that should be good enough.
And do you just place it all on 1 Genesect, seems?
Yep.
120, just a easy 70 to clean it up on the following turn.
This is where they get you with the tech penny.
I'm looking through. No tech penny
Collapse
here
Stadium.
today. No collapse stadium. That is something we've seen in the past. Able to kind of help in that Lost Box matchup, getting rid of your big damaged Pokemon. Here, we're just going to see a judge from John, hoping to draw some cards. We haven't really seen a lot of that from John this game.
Gonna judge, try to reset Cameron's hand once again. This is a terrifying position if you're John, right? You lose to a boss's orders. Cramorant just finishes off the Genesect. You basically lose to a Clara. You lose to a lot of things. You don't even win on the next turn if your opponent whiffs on this turn. So it's a long road ahead, but it is still possible for John to win.
Yeah, anything's possible in the game of Pokemon, especially when your opponent does not draw anything. Oh.
What about a Thornton?
If there's a Psychic Energy.
No, that Sableye is going to the Lost Zone.
There's another one in the discard.
That's true. That's true. Yep. My mistake. That is true. We could see a Thornton for the win. You just set up Comfey, flower selecting into the Psychic, and then swap it into the Sableye.
That would be something for sure. Ultra Ball is going to discard the Echoing Horn and Battle VIP Pass to thin the hand down for John to use Fusion Strike System to draw into some more cards here. And even looking through the list, sometimes you see like Switch Cart or something to just heal Genesects a little bit.
Yep.
Nothing of the sort here. 5 cards off of this Fusion Strike system. Oh, there is a switch card. Okay, I just must be blind. I
there's
can't
2
read.
switch cards, yeah.
Yeah, I can't. There's not even one, just 2.
I don't think it changes the math here at all, though. So not really worth doing.
No, it does not.
So John can path to the peak here, which will shut off Radiant Greninja's concealed cards.
The Psychic Leap with the Cleansing Gloves, taking the knockout on Sableye.
Nice. He also could have just used Max Miracle, but whatever.
No. We're going with
the Psychic
spice.
Energy!
Psychic Energy off the top. Oh.
Is this Thornton for the game?
Yes!
The most
Thornton to
unlikely
Comfey.
Thornton win ever.
Energy lost mine. Knockout. Game 1 goes to Cameron.
Wow. That's one way to do it. All right. Well, that was certainly a game I've witnessed. Drapion V got 5 prize cards, and then
Thornton for the win.
didn't even need to flower selecting.
Didn't even need it.
Yep.
Now, hopefully, John will have a little better luck in those following turns. 3 Lost Vacuum to start the hand with 4 Mew Vs on the bench.
Yeah. Jeremy, I'm going to guess that maybe Trico is one of John's favorite Pokemon.
Maybe.
But yeah, I can hear both players talking about, there's a bit of nerves going on, playing on stream for the first time, very understandable. Yeah. And I got to experience playing on stream earlier, got the headset on. I'm going to blame that on my lost nerves,
I'm not going to let you take that. I won fair and square.
Oh yeah, you still won. Yeah. All right, now we're heading into game 2. Jeremy, do you think it's better to go first or second in this matchup?
You're going to go first every time with Mew. Honestly, you're going to want to evolve into that Mew VMAX. Like, granted, if you're playing with Fusion Strike Energies and Meloetta, then I can see you going second because you can actually take prizes going second. If you go second with Mew, it's going to be a couple turns before you even get an attack off.
Yeah. Jeremy, what if...
Oh, no.
Both Sableye were prized.
The MVP.
What if making your opponent go first and not letting them play Chorus means they don't draw a Battle VIP pass, though?
That's the risk you have to choose, but...
Yeah, obviously you should go first.
Yeah, obviously. Anytime really with an evolution deck, you're going to want to go first because you're going to want to be the first person to get those evolutions in play. And John starting things off here with the Battle VIP pass, that is one great way to do it.
Yeah, I feel like there is a weird exception in those formats with the Inteleon lines where it's like sometimes you wanted to go second so you could keep calling with Sobble. A very rare exception for an evolution deck to be happy with going second, but happens every once in a while. One thing you are always happy to do is start with the Battle VIP pass in your opening hand, as John has done here once again. We'll see if 4 Mew V hit the board again this game.
To be honest, I'm scared about the 2 Mew V coming down right now. There is 1 prize, though, so I guess there's no 4 possibility. And John has a hand of Trekking Shoes, Mew VMAX, that for Seal Stone, and a double turbos. A lot to work with here.
Yep. The best artwork of Trekking Shoes, of course.
Oh, honestly, all the artwork that they have done was amazing.
Yeah, it's all fantastic.
The Lost Vacuum, the Trekking Shoes, the Rescue Carrier.
Yep.
The best cards in Crown Zenith to make an actual impact, for sure.
Yep.
Double turbo energy on that Mew, and just a pass of the turn.
All right, here we go. Is there going to be another Battle VIP pass?
Yes, there is.
There it is. Card of the game. That is the card you always want to start with.
Yeah, there's a reason
most
of these decks are playing 4 of them.
Yeah, it's one of the most polarizing cards in the standard format, I think. When you start with it, it's the best card in your deck. If you're unlucky enough to never draw it on the first turn, it's a completely worthless card. It just it really feels like it changes so much about how decks operate. Because you're so reliant on it. I mean, the games where you just don't play one turn 1, they feel horrible. It feels like your win percentage drops drastically if you don't play one of these on the first turn.
Yeah, 100%. It basically means you're playing a 56 card deck that can't really have some good draws later on in the game unless you're able to really thin it out. And that's what both of these decks really do well, is draw a lot of cards for the first part of the game.
Yep. Things starting off really well for Cameron. Got the VIP for 2 Comfey, got the Radiant Greninja. I'm sure we'll see some concealed cards, some flower selecting. Yeah, I mean, what more can you ask for besides a Colress's Experiment? I didn't see if there's one in Cameron's hand already, but that's the last thing you want to see here, I think.
I probably would ask for a Colress's Experiment, honestly.
What about a Thornton?
Maybe not as much. There's also a Drapion V in there.
Okay, you can Ultra Ball away the Drapion V and then Thornton it into the active and then take the knockout.
I don't know if that's worth it. But we're going to start things off concealed cards. Get a little more information before you're deciding all these lines of plays.
Like, I'm just saying, that was a legal play.
It was a legal play. I don't know if it was a good play. You do have access to Ultra Ball for something like Luminion V to grab Colress, but it's just pass of the turn and no cards in the Lost Zone for Cameron here. John's going to start things off. Has that Mew VMAX, that for Seal Stone. And we're going to see a pretty good turn here.
Yeah, that was an odd turn for sure. Usually when you start with the Battle VIP pass, you use concealed cards. Like, you think something good is going to happen, but to just immediately fizzle like that is devastating.
There is an escape rope found off that first Fusion Strike system. We'll get that Mew VMAX into the active spot, so you can take a knockout this turn.
Just a one. Oh, well, that's a good one card to draw, I guess.
That's a pretty good one card.
Okay.
Doing as much as you can before having to use that for Seal Stone. Ultra Ball will discard the boss's orders in Lost City, it seems like, with a Path to the Peak in hand.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a good start. I assume we'll see a judge at some point, and then we'll be off to the races. Although,
no,
I don't know.
You don't even need to judge your opponent's hand. They didn't play down Colress's Experiment.
That is true. Yeah. We'll see. Maybe maybe John thinks that Cameron's just, sandbagging it, has the Drapion already, just waiting for the right moment.
Well, he does, but
Yeah.
Third Genesect found off Ultra Ball, and will be able to Fusion Strike system for 4 cards now.
Yeah, this one's much better than the last one.
And a Cramomatic Judge, like you said.
There's
found.
a judge.
The Power Tablet will enable Psychic Leap to take the knockout. There's that Path to the Peak.
There it is.
There's the Judge. All right.
Well, there you go.
Both players shuffle their hand in their deck, draw 4 cards.
Yeah. I think you kind of alluded to it, but would you personally have done that after seeing your opponent not play a Colress's Experiment?
I would probably change my decision right when I see the Judge. If I don't have it, I'm like, I'm not going to go for it.
Yeah, yeah.
But then if I see it, I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll just judge.
I'm not going to waste my Forest Seal Stone on that.
Yeah.
Oh, but if I draw the Judge, well,
Exactly.
sure, then I should do it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's usually how my brain works.
All right.
Cramomatic Battle VIP Pass found off this Judge, as well as another Mew VMAX.
Name a more iconic duo. Cramomatic discarding Battle VIP Pass.
Colress's Experiment, Comfey.
Yeah, all right.
Energy Radiant Greninja. Lost Vacuum, Path to the Peak.
Yeah, I mean, John did Cramomatic for Lost Vacuum to have it for next turn.
That
These
sets
are
up play.
The funny play patterns that you have with this deck now. Path to the Peak, a card that shuts down your main strategy, but you kind of control when you're going to use it. So you use all your abilities, then play it down, and then back to your turn, you get rid of it, use all your abilities again, and then you play it back down.
Oh, well, Judge found the Colress's Experiment, and this is my experience. When you judge your Lost Box opponent, they always draw Colress's Experiment.
Sure, yep.
Cameron, no different. Gets rid of the Battle VIP Pass, and I think a Mirage Gate.
Looks like it, yeah. Do have some flower selecting. Cannot use concealed cards currently because of the Path to the Peak. So could potentially slow Cameron down here.
Psychic Energy to the Lost Zone in favor of the Mirage Gate number 2.
Yep, obviously if you're Cameron, you would love to end this turn by getting out Drapion V, countering the stadium, and taking 3 prize cards on that Mew VMAX, but we'll see what's feasible here.
Switch Cart will enable another flower selecting for the turn, finds Giratina V-Star and Escape Rope, 2 cards that are not really going to do much right now.
It's funny, we haven't actually seen a Giratina in play yet this match.
Yeah, it's not a Giratina deck, it's fine. It's a Comfey, Sableye, Drapion deck.
I mean, doesn't that say something about Giratina? It's just like...
Maybe it is not S tier.
I guess that's part of the flexibility of the deck, though. You control which matchups you play it down in. It's pretty good against Arceus.
It is very good against Arceus. Escape Rope going to be the card next for Cameron.
Oof. This is not an ideal turn. Just going to hit a Mew VMAX for 110 damage.
Does not really help your math going forward. And it also opens up plays like Psychic Leap later on.
Definitely. Especially with that cleansing gloves.
Now you can Lost Vacuum, get rid of the Ultra Ball or the Genesect, draw some cards, and then you can draw a few more cards with cards like Ultra Ball.
Yeah, it's interesting. It depends on how much you feel like you need to do anything this turn. I mean, your opponent didn't do a whole lot. You could just retreat and attack again. That way you don't need to go through all this process of, Lost Vacuum and...
Find another path to the peak.
Exactly, yeah. But John deciding, you know what, I need to draw further through my deck, which I think is fair. You do want to thin out your deck as much as you can to set up for future turns.
All right, we found another Mew, another path to the peak. What else can you ask for?
Maybe another power tablet and a double turbo energy. Then you can Psychic Leap.
Well, for Seal Stone number 2.
Well, we do still have that available as well.
So that means just need one of the 2 that you said. Power Tablet or the Double Turbo. For Seal Stone can find the other one. Got one more draw to do it, but do you thin the hand down with Ultra Ball here?
Okay, just going ahead and using that Seal Stone right away.
John being nice, showing the opponent what you're getting.
Yep. All right, and then we'll see what route John wants to go down here.
I'm assuming you're fine showing. Yeah.
Double Turbo on the active. We have Pal Pad, Ultra Ball. You can Ultra Ball the hand away. Try to draw a few more cards.
Yeah, you could try to find a second power tablet. You could also try to find a boss's orders. Then you could target down a Comfey for a knockout with Psychic Leap. You don't even particularly need to Psychic Leap right now. There's not a whole lot that does 200 damage with this Lost Box deck. It's something you could potentially delay for a further turn, so it doesn't even matter that much if you don't pull it off here.
And this is kind of one of the tricky sequencing parts of this deck where we saw John search for that Double Turbo before finishing out all these draws, where you could have drawn the Double Turbo here and then find the Power Tablet.
For example. There's a Cramomatic, though.
Never punished. Cramomatic is going to be discarding Switch Cart or Echoing Horn, and then with a Heads, we'll be able to find that last Power Tablet needed.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Oof,
It's like another Forest Seal Stone.
essentially. Here's the boss's orders. Boss's orders will be able to bring up a Comfey and take a knockout that way.
Yep. So pretty solid turn for John. Oh, I think forgot to play down Path to the Peak.
Did forget to play down Path to the Peak for sure. Unless no way to get rid of it in the hand, so maybe you just want to guarantee you can draw some more cards later on.
Yeah, this does obviously open the door for like a Drapion plus boss's orders. Also opens the door for concealed cards to be used.
Yeah, the hand wasn't doing very much for Cameron the previous turn, so with the extra 2 cards, maybe can try something different, especially drawing a bunch of energy. 3 in hand now.
All right, so we'll see how Cameron approaches this now. I think there is 1 boss's orders in the deck. Would be
Has
a huge
the
find here.
Ultra Ball 4, Luminion 4 boss's orders if that's the option.
Very true.
Concealed cards finds 2 Colossus Experiment. Maybe that's just a little too enticing to play down. Like, oh, I haven't even played Colors really this game. All right.
All right, see the flower selecting. It finds the boss's orders.
So many supporters. The top cards were double Colossus Experiment, boss's orders, Roxanne.
Yeah, who needs Luminion? So yeah, I guess now the question is, do you just go for it? I don't see why not. It would be nice to get more cards into the Lost Zone, of course, but how can you pass up this 3-prize knockout?
If you think about it, too, there's what? 2 power tablets being played, the choice belt on that Mew VMAX,
yeah.
so that's going to get taken out. That means just 2 power tablets left for John to try to draw into and take the knockout, the return KO.
So it looks like Cameron is going to be eyeing up this play. Can Nest Ball, get the Drapion V into play. Boss's orders out that Mew VMAX and get the knockout. Thanks to that Wild Style ability, that Dynamic Tail attack is going to cost 0 energy, hit for weakness, and get a 3-prize knockout on that big Pokemon VMAX. But of course, you always have to be wary of what's coming next. You open yourself up to Roxanne and hand disruption cards like that. So is there some way you can kind of prep yourself for that hand disruption, maybe get down an attacker in preparation for what might be coming next?
Yeah, instead of Ultra Ball for Luminion, you can Ultra Ball for that Giratina V and get that set up with something like a Mirage Gate or even just an energy for the following turn. A lot of options here.
Yeah, I think the tough part is there's just not a lot of cards in the Lost Zone currently, just 5. So Mirage Gate not happening yet. You really want to get up to that Star Requiem for Giratina V-Star. It's just the automatic knockout. That's how you can take down a Mew VMAX. But yeah, if you're not going to play Colress's Experiment here, you're probably not going to get any more cards into the Lost Zone. That means...
Well, you still got a Colors for next turn. That's fine.
Yeah, that means next turn you'd have to get 5 more cards in the Lost Zone, though.
Yeah. It's doable.
Technically, yes. I don't think this deck plays Lost Vacuum, so it's going to be a lot harder.
Yes. At least with the Ultra Ball, we'll find the Giratina V. You can get the energy on there for the following turn. There is the switch cart to that Drapion V. Boss's orders in hand. Bring up that Mew VMAX. Cameron taking 3 prizes here. Dynamic Tail.
All right, 3 prizes and hoping for the best.
Does grab one of those Sableyes off the prizes. And John is going to start things off. Double turbo on that Mew V. Needs to find the VMAX this turn, or else we're really not going to have a game.
Yeah. Also needs a power tablet. I mean, like you mentioned, Choice Belt is now down. It's not easy to knock out a Giratina V-Star. And you need a bunch of damage modifiers. And a couple of them are gone already, plus the Choice Belt. So even like over the course of 2 turns, it might be too difficult to knock out a Giratina V-Star. So this is still a tough game for John. Obviously, it all starts with getting the knockout on this Drapion V. But even after that, there's no super clear path to victory.
Would you say a path to the peak is clear to victory?
I would not.
Oh, okay.
I would not.
Because there's a path to the peak in hand.
Okay. Tracking shoes into a battle VIP pass and kept it so that he could cram a Matic away. That's peak Pokemon right there.
And it was a heads, so that Mew VMAX is found for John here. Now just needs the power tablet to take the knockout. No Genesect used just yet. Path to the peak in hand. You cannot get rid of that, so you're going to be drawing 4 cards. Fusion Strike system.
Yep. I think... Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much...
Okay, it's on top. It's fine.
Yeah.
And another Cramomatic Battle VIP pass to go along with it.
Beautiful. They come in pairs.
I guess, yeah. There is that power tablet. So, Cross Fusion Strike for Technoblast will be able to take the knockout on that Drapion. Now it's just up to John to figure out this rest of the turn to get set up.
Yeah, he still has some Fusion Strike systems to use.
Couple more, yeah. 3 cards here.
Was that an Echoing Horn?
We get 1 more card.
Yep.
There we go. It was an Echoing Horn.
Okay. Oh, that's another way to get around the Giratina V-Star.
Yeah, that's honestly, John might have game next turn.
Yep. I think we'll need access to every last power tablet, though. I think 2 are down already, if I remember correctly. Or this was the third one.
This is the third one, yeah.
Yeah. But if there's one thing that the Mew VMAX deck is good at doing, it's drawing its entire deck. So.
Well, there is that Cross Fusion Strike for the Technoblast, taking the knockout. You see the Thornton in hand for Cameron.
No. Are we going to see Thornton for 2 games in a row? You just need a counter stadium, right?
Beach Court? Where's the Beach Court?
Yeah, there's a Temple of Sinnoh, Beach Court.
That's it?
These are game winners.
Flower selecting off the top. Nest Ball thinning the deck down a little bit. You saw that Temple of Sinnoh down at the bottom. All right, we're good. We're good. Flower selecting wouldn't have done anything. Beach Court and that Temple are both in the deck.
Okay, here we go. I mean, you can even chorus into it, right? Or no, then you can't play Thornton. Never mind.
Honestly, it might be a heads-up play if Cameron doesn't find it to just fill the bench up, make it so you can't Echoing Horn.
Yep.
You would need to evolve into the Giratina V-Star as well to make that plan work. But it is possible, and then you get Thornton next turn.
Yeah, that could work. So yeah, Cameron still can win the game this turn. Just going to need to find one of those stadium cards to get rid of the Path to the Peak. I would say the odds are not super high to pull that off, but hey, if you just believe hard enough, it'll be in your top 2 cards.
I'm believing, Kyle.
There we go.
Temple of Sinnoh off the Flower selecting. Bump the Path to the Peak. Thornton.
No, come on. 2 games in a row.
Way to seal up day 2. Cameron Kawasaki moving on.
Incredible.
Wow.
Thornton is the best card in the game, Jeremy.
For this match, yes.
Every time it was played, it won the game. How can you argue with that?
I can't. There's no arguing with that.
All right, congratulations to Cameron. I mean, hey, you found a way to win both games using Thornton. Won in style. What more can you ask for your first stream match?
Now, John Munoz is still in the hunt. 5-2-1 now, needs to win the last round to make it into day 2 at a 6-2-1 record.
Yep.
And hopefully we can see him a little bit more later on, but wow. Thornton, who would have thought?
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I mean, that's what makes the Pokemon TCG beautiful, right? There's just so many